Familiar faces and friends of the nation's closest ally are back in the country for some high-level engagement with their local counterparts. Good afternoon, I am William Theo, and this is PTV News Now. And we kick off this afternoon's stories with the President welcoming U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and Defense Chief Lloyd Austin, who flew in and paid a courtesy call on him at the palace earlier today, bringing with them a message from POTUS Joe Biden, who extends his heartfelt sympathies to the President and the Filipino people on the damage and devastation visited by Typhoon Karina deadly passage last week. Blinken and Austin are still set to join their Philippine counterparts, DFA Secretary Enrique Manalo and Philippine Defense Secretary Gilberto Teodoro, for the 4th Philippine-United States Foreign and Defense Ministerial Dialogue, hosted by Secretary Enrique Manalo and the Department of Foreign Affairs and Secretary Gilberto Teodoro Jr. and the Department of National Defense. Secretaries Blinken, Austin, and their Philippine counterparts Manalo and Teodoro are up for high-level talks on how to consolidate even more the already strong and robust friendship and alliance between the two. Furthermore, the talks are hoped to create and enable a program that backs up a rule-based international order, stimulates and ramps up economic ties, as well as solutions to evolving regional and global security challenges, such as the very dicey and cumbersome issue of freedom of navigation and movement within the country's exclusive economic zone in the West Philippine Sea. With Gaza still in the midst of a raging war, yet another flashpoint northward is threatening to erupt into full-scale hostilities between Israel and the militant and far more capable Iranian-backed Hezbollah fighters. This after a deadly attack on Israeli-occupied Golan Heights over the weekend, where a rocket fire hit a soccer field with Jewish kids playing at the time of the blast. A dozen Jewish kids lost their lives as a result of the airstrike. Israeli government officials accused Iran of helping plan and finance the attack, which U.S. officials, to include Blinken and Austin, were quick to condemn amidst the pushback. The governments of the United Kingdom, Germany, and France have sent advisories and warnings to their constituents in Lebanon to leave and not take any chances. In other news, barbaric Hamas fighters laid waste and unspeakable horror on over 1,200 unsuspecting Israelis on October 7, such as Netanyahu's government and the IDF have yet to let up in their retaliatory attacks against Hamas and innocent Palestinians, whose death toll has reached over 39,000 casualties. And then again, VOA's Linda Gradstein filed her support in the kibbutz hit hardest by Hamas, where a rainbow of hope hangs over as rebuilding efforts have finally kicked off.
Surveying the destroyed ruins of his Kibbutz Beeri home, Sharon Shabo says he doesn't want to always look back to the October 7th attack by Hamas gunmen. The attack on Beeri was considered the worst of all the Israeli communities bordering Gaza, resulting in the murder of 101 and the kidnapping of 30 civilian members of the kibbutz.
There is nothing to take from here. It is all part of the past, part of the tragedy. I want to look forward to good things. This damaged neighborhood will be destroyed, and we will rebuild in a new area, which will help the soul to heal, not to build where our loved ones were murdered.
The desire to leave behind the more than 100 destroyed homes and rebuild them motivates Shabo, a construction engineer who is working on the kibbutz rehabilitation project. A vacant plot of land has already been cleared for the first stage of constructing 52 new houses over the next year and a half. The full rehabilitation of the kibbutz, with 120 new homes, is expected to take about 3 years and cost $100 million. Immediately after the October 7th Hamas attack, most kibbutz residents were evacuated to hotels at the Dead Sea. They have stayed there for almost 10 months, but plan to move together to another southern Israeli community in the next month. About 40 residents have already moved back from the Dead Sea to their still intact homes in Kibbutz Beeri, although not all of them on a full-time basis.
Our hope is to come back. We love the place. We came here for Zionist reasons, and my children are Zionists. They love Beeri and want to be here through fire and water.
The Beeri dairy, which has produced artisanal cheeses for over 30 years, was one of Beeri's businesses that reopened just weeks after October 7th. Its manager, Dror Or, was killed in the Hamas attack, and his body is still being held hostage in Gaza. But his partners and co-workers decided to keep the dairy operating. The business brings kibbutz residents back to work daily, as does Beeri Printers, the largest printing press in Israel.
Beeri is on the map and it will stay on the map. And we have a lot of plans for the future. And this is our home. We don't abandon your home.
An internal investigation by the Israeli army found the army made many catastrophic mistakes in their response to the Hamas invasion of Kibbutz Beeri. Most kibbutz residents say they want to rebuild and move back home, but they are calling on Israel's military forces to ensure there is never again a repeat of what happened here on October 7th. Linda Gradstein, VOA News, Kibbutz Beeri, Israel.
And that's a wrap for this afternoon. Join us a little bit later in the evening for another set of stories for PTV News Now. As always, stay informed and get ahead by catching the news right here. This is William Theo, and thank you for watching PTV News Now.